Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is a 3D Chimera, and today we're going to go through low poly hands. Or at least as low poly as I'm willing to go. So feel free to follow along and build something useful together. So, first things first, I like to start off with a cube. Call it palm. And what I'll do in edit mode is I'll scale it on the Z axis just to make it nice and easy for ourselves. Jump into face mode and we will delete the wrist side face. Next, what we'll do is we'll tab out of edit mode, back into object mode. We'll circle. The circle is going to have 6 vertices. See that here. Next, we're going to rotate on the x-axis. Scratch that. We'll rotate on the y-axis 90 degrees. And we'll scale that down to about the same width as palm. Next, we're going to pull that all the way into the wrist side of the palm. Extrude that all the way out to the front of the palm. This is going to be our middle finger. Fill the end in. Next, we're going to put in 2 loop cuts. Control R and then right click. Right click allows it to lock into the center. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the front 2 verts on the bottom of the middle finger. Drag that slightly inwards, just so we get a little bit of a finger shape. I'm going to grab the top 2. If it helps, jump into X-ray mode and scale it on the Z-axis just to grab it. Scale that on the Y just a little bit. Does help. Just angle it out just a tiny bit. So that it's not fully straight. And in our top view, we'll grab all of the front and we will scale it Y. And there we have a finger. Now, to make it a little bit more animation friendly, grab these 2 loops and then we'll bevel them. We'll also push our mouse wheel up just to give it an extra cut in the center. Next, we'll add 1 more loop cut just at the end. We can use the L key to select the entire mesh, drag it to the front. This is going to be our middle finger, so let's put it in the right spot. Now, it does help to have a reference here. We'll sort of freehand this a little bit. So typically, does a bit of this shape. And on the front view, it tends to go up slightly and then thumb somewhere around here. I'll just clear out my annotations. Switch back into cursor. So what we'll do is we'll drag you slightly forward, duplicate it out using Shift D, scale it down on the X just a tiny bit, and then rotate it slightly. So this index finger is going to be about the same length as our finger. Makes it super easy for us putting it. Duplicate it again, and then we'll scale it a little bit further just to get our pinky. Now, to make things a little bit easier and more natural looking, grab our index finger, tilt it slightly up. We'll grab our middle finger, tilt that slightly down. Our ring finger, tilt that even further down. There, I would say. And our last finger, furthest. If you want it to be a little bit more natural looking, I'd suggest grabbing all the verts in the center. Just drag slightly down. Noting I didn't really adjust that curvature on the front, so I'll just raise you up a tiny bit. You will slightly rotate. Okay, so thumb. What we'll do is we'll grab the index finger's first knuckle, duplicate that, and we'll put it out the palm's end. We'll rotate it almost completely, just for visual clarity. This is where our thumbnail will be. Just on this side. That edit, I was hoping annotations. Back into cursor. Next, we'll grab this loop, extrude slightly, and we will rotate, scale it a little bit wider. Now comes the fun part. So, typically I work to make an 11 vert wrist. You can do 12, but for the sake of this tutorial, okay, so just to make it easier on myself, I typically will add in a circle, and I will make that 11. Put it on the wrist side. And I will scale that on the Z-axis. About there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's fine. You can edit that later. It's just as a guide. So I'll tab into our palm. Put 3 across. 1 in the center. And we'll do 3 across here as well. What I like to do is grab these bottom ones, pull them down, just so I get my sort of thumb connection joint bit. Next, I'll start with finger joins, edge select. I'll grab all of these points, and I will put a bevel. Next, I'll put a loop cut all the way around. We are at a 12, and we'll have to fix that in some way. That is fine for the time being. We can work around that. So what we'll do from here, we'll grab our triangles and we'll merge those down. Awesome. Bottom side, yeah, we'll do the same on here. Next, we'll join the fingies. So we'll delete spaces in between. Next, what we'll do is we'll grab all of these holes. Depending on how you prefer to do this, you can use relax. Relax will get everything nice and circular to a degree. Minus the center, which will slightly move. Just to get it nice. The better you align this, the easier it's going to be. Let's clean up the to do. Yep, that's fine. We'll come clean that in a second. Now we'll just make sure that's all good. That's looking good to me. Okay, let's jump over to our thumb. Thumb's an interesting one. So I might take that slightly more. Our thumb side's still facing us, though a little darkened. What I'll do is I'll grab this bottom face, we'll drag it up slightly. Grab this one, drag that. We'll punch out a nice hole on our palm in a moment. We'll come down here to about there-ish. And that. Maybe about that. Now we'll jump over to a palm. We'll put one loop cut roughly here. Just drag that just a little. Next, we'll grab you. I'm going to be using you to connect to this guy here. But I think now is a good time to put the fingers in. So I'll grab the two meshes and join them together. Move you slightly like that. There. There we go. Now we can join them. Nice and simple. Select the two loops, two circles, bridge them. Go. If it's a little bit out, just move slightly. Let's do a little bit of tweaking. We're not too fast about the overall just yet. Okay. Next, you need to go in. Just adjusting the thumb. So what we'll do, grab face. You got it. I'm gonna join that guy up. Good. I'll cut across there. I take you out as well. Just as necessary. Up to my bottom view. Now I'm gonna put a cut here. Subdivide. Cut view, and we'll dissolve this edge. View. Almost there. Just need to get I'll hold off on that one for a second. That's what I need to do. Need you to be you'll be going here. Need to get so I can merge you up. Need a biggie. That's an easy fix. we can dissolve you. It's difficult sometimes. A lot of 3D modeling is problem solving. So I can solve you by mode last there. No, I'm going to turn this 12 into an 11, which means I should push you up. I'm going to just a tiny bit. Distress. Solve by mode last there. Resolve that. But nope. Okay. Good. There we go. Everything's now nice. A little bit. 11. Yeah, I'll just pull this down just a tiny bit. These guys can come out. Bottom one. So from here, we've got the overall shape. It's quite nice. Just over 350 votes. Now we can jump to sculpt mode. Might look a tiny bit different, but I use the relax slide. It's just called relax in older versions of Blender. Alt Shift, it'll average verts. It's different from the smooth brush, so don't get them confused. To adjust, just make sure they're all using the same normals. So fingers, just push those loops back in. Just need those loops to be close enough that they're actually going to be usable for when we make things. Into sculpt mode. Just put a little bit of inflection here. 20 there. Just on the top. And I'm pretty happy with that. Arguably, yeah, we could probably push that out just a tiny bit. So what I might do, grab you guys. One. And there. Let's have a look at what happens when we push the resolution up a bit. We hit it with a subdivide. Rather nice mesh here. Personally, if you can keep it as low as possible, you should. There's a lot of tricks, and to be honest, I spent a long time using subdivision, thinking it made things look better. It doesn't. It'll hide a lot of problems.